were nights I didn't trust myself. Didn't recognize the floor I stood on. Felt like the world would keep on moving if I quietly moved on. I questioned every reason. I questioned why I stayed. Felt like I'd run out of purpose and borrowed all my faith. I didn't need a warning sign. I didn't need the truth. I just needed one good reason not to disappear from view. Names I'll never lose. Pull me back into the room when I felt like I was finished. They gave me something to do. Names I'll never lose. Kept me standing when I shook. They don't know they saved my life, but I know they did. I learned how to get up quietly. Learned how to clean the dust. Learned how to wear a steady face when I was running out of trust. I wouldn't let them see me breaking. I wouldn't let them see me fold. If I was gonna fall apart, I'd do it when I was alone. I didn't need to feel strong. I just needed to stay. I didn't need tomorrow solved. I just needed one more day. Names I'll never lose. Held me here when I was thin. When I didn't feel like I mattered. They reminded me I did. Oh, names I'll never lose. When the nights felt endless. They don't know they saved my life, but I know they did. Someday they'll understand the way they never saw. How I kept choosing morning when I didn't want it at all. If they ever feel unwanted or question why they're here, I hope they hear my voice say, you were always the reason I stay. Names I'll never lose. I say them when it's hard, when I don't trust my own reflection. They remind me who I am. Oh, names I'll never lose. Long after this is gone, they don't know they saved my life, but they're the reason I'm still going. I didn't stay because it was easy. I stayed because it was true. Your names I'll never lose. It's Tuesday. This is the Mortals. I'm me, you're you. More importantly, you could be doing anything, anywhere, with anybody, with you doing something with what? This is the Mortals. That was Names I'll Never Lose. It's Tuesday. It's 7 o'clock. I saved you a seat. You could be doing anything with anyone, anywhere is what I was trying to say. So if you to be
choosing to hang out with me. It means so very much to me. I'm Nathan, and I have had a great week. Hope you have as well. For those of you who shave your face, men, maybe women too, but I don't know how I cut myself shaving under my eye. So that's where this boo boo comes from. I'm kind of matching the artwork from the single artwork and also the lyric video, but we'll talk more about that. But I want to start tonight by telling you where I am. This is confession. I am Catholic after all, not where all of the highlights say someone is. I am, for instance. I want to tell you where I actually am because it would be easy for me to open the show the way that you're supposed to open a show. You have all this energy. Well, I fumbled over the words, but act as if everything is great. Look how far I've come. And then, well, some of that would be true, yes, but you didn't come here for the glamorous, the made up version, right? That has it all figured out. And I appreciate that because you came here for the real one. So here is the real one. Buckle up, Buttercup. I am in a rebuilding season. And I've said that before. I'm going to keep saying it because rebuilding isn't a weekend. It's this long, very unglamorous stretch of road where you get up in the dark and you do the next right thing and you don't always feel it working. So I find myself carrying some weight right now, and I'm not going to put it on camera. I'm not going to narrate all of it to you because some things I think you do protect while you're still standing in the middle of the muck. But I want to tell you this much so that you know that I'm not at all talking down to you from some higher up mountain. I know what it is to be tired and away. Sleep won't touch. I know what it is to hold other people's worst days for a living and then drive home to your own. I'm laughing because that's the other half of me. If you are new here, I'm a funeral director. It's not former thing. It's not this past life. It's not this story that I tell just because it's what I did and have done for nearly 15 years. 15 years. It's something that I will continue to do. I've stood with families on the worst day of their lives. And then I make music about it, which people tell me is this weird combination, but maybe it is. But the two things, they've never felt separate to me. They're the same job. One of them just rhymes. Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Name that movie. Let me know if you know that movie in the chat. Here's what I bring to you tonight and why. A little while back, this voice that I grew up with went quiet. Somebody I never met, never shook their hand, never sat in a room with them, never would have, I don't think. And then a song of theirs came on. And you know how it happens. You're not choosing that. The shuffle just happens, and then this wave comes up, and I stop. And then my first thought's like, what is wrong with you? You didn't know this person. You have no right to feel this. People are grieving real people tonight, people who tuck them in, and you're getting rocked by a total stranger on your car speakers. Get it together, weirdo. But I don't think that anymore. And tonight, I'll tell you, because I would bet that some version of that story, of that, has happened to you. Somebody made you feel foolish for it, maybe, or made yourself feel foolish. Yeah, let's not feel foolish for that. Here is what, when I sat with it, I kind of found myself landing on. And I feel like I've had a lot of front row seats to grief, to test all of this. Grief, it's not about how well you knew someone. I think grief is love. It's this, it definitely outlives the person. That's really all it is. And love that keeps showing up, I guess, to this door, and it doesn't just sit down and check out. It doesn't sit down and check whether you were technically, did you know this person like really, really well? I mean, that's why we're moved by people who impacted us in some way, right? We've definitely lost some real ones. Dolly, pardon, as of today. Voices that scored people's lives, the drive to the first job, the breakup, the wedding, the hospital waiting room at 2 o'clock in the morning. And then one of those voices, when it goes out, when it goes quiet, the internet does its thing where it fills up with people who are literally grieving. And then right underneath, this other crowd is going, why are you all so upset? You didn't know them. And both of those crowds think they're the sane one. But your brain, it's not crazy. I think it's beautiful if you look at it in the right way. And I tend to do a glass half full. Your brain does not file the people who show up in your life every single day as strangers. It doesn't have this category for someone whose voice was in your kitchen for 15 years that says you technically never met them. It files them as present, as part of like the furniture of a room of your life. So when they do die, your heart doesn't like run this background check. It just registers something that was always here is gone. And it grieves the way that it knows how. Parasocial. They apparently have a word for it now. And people say it like it's this knock, like it means fake. But this is me flipping it. There is nothing fake about it. The relationship was one direction, not the band or group, but they didn't know your name, but the comfort was real. The company was real. Those songs, they sat with you on nights when actual human beings didn't. So I think when you grieve them, you're not being this dramatic basket case. You're being, I think, faithful. You're honoring something that honored you. In my other job, funeral director, I've stood with families grieving someone that they only ever knew through a screen. And I have watched their bodies do the exact same thing that bodies do over their blood relatives. The same shoulders, the same look, the same way that the room goes quiet. Like a part of me wanted to rank that. Like the grief is more legitimate than that one. Anyway, I've learned standing in those rooms at grief, it doesn't come with a receipt. You don't have to prove you earned it. If you're carrying it, it counts. I will die on that hill. So that is where we are going tonight. And I want to give you the whole plan, if you will, because, I saved you a seat. You show up. This is the mortals. It's just as much yours as it is mine. And I want to talk about why this stranger's death can break you, why that's not this flaw. And I want to talk about songs, the ones that you literally cannot play anymore because of who they belong to, which is interesting. And that same music is also the safest place that you go and I don't know how to articulate that. It's like the safest place that you know that you should go, but you can't do it anymore. If that makes sense, if that tracks, does that track? Let me know in the comments. I don't know. Some of these things are really, really difficult to articulate, which brings me to my next thing. We're going to be breaking down the lyric video to Names I'll Never Lose, which is really interesting. But I do have also a story about a village that took care of this stranger's grave for 86 years. And I want to make some space for the grief that nobody validates, our pet, or the friend, or the person maybe that you used to be. Yeah. So do me a favor. I want you to put a name in the chat. One name, famous or not, met or never met, gone a week, gone 20 years, but some name that you still carry. Do not explain it. Just put it there because what I want to do is I want to do something with those. Yeah. So let's do that. To see those, yeah, well, more on that soon. Uh, my head's thinking about the way in which we honor, like the we speak their names and they stay very much alive. That's what I've come to believe. It's this thing. Um, I mean, it's what I built the song. Names will never lose. You don't lose them. They keep you here even. And then it's not the way that I've realized that it's hard to articulate that feeling in a way. It's hard to convey that. A lot of the content that I was trying to make was talking about like, okay, I want you to shut your eyes and picture a day in a life without you. It's hard to say that because it's like, oh my gosh, this is not a sad show. This is not at all. The subject does sound super heavy, but I promise you, we're not here to sit in this like perpetual darkness. I want to look at the thing that everybody's scared of, which is losing people, even people maybe that we had no right to love or say that we love, and then come out and acknowledge that, hey, like we're permitted to feel what we feel. And that's the whole point. We look at death. So we go home and we live like we mean it. So put that name in the chat. Chat. Get comfy, pop some popcorn, put some of those little fuzzy socks on. Yeah, I'm feeling the rhythm and it's Cool Runnings, by the way. It's Cool Runnings, if you didn't know that. If you didn't. If you did. Whoa. Okay. That's amazing. All right. I want to talk about the first thing on my list, which is my note here, my handy dandy note. All right. I want to talk a little bit about Dolly. I mean, Dolly. Like, I don't know if you remember a few months ago, the internet does what the internet does sometimes. I think Betty White, before she died, there was I don't know if you saw all those posts that would go around and they were talking about Betty White died and they spelled her name wrong, right? And so it's just kind of like churning all the time. And Betty White, I thought was dead like 100 times before she actually did die. And Dolly as well. I think earlier in the year there was something about how she wasn't well or whatever. And of course, and it goes back to the parasocial thing. It's like we feel like we know this person. We have this vested interest in them because of what they brought us. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's a beautiful thing, right? Someone who devoted their life to singing songs, performing songs that are absolutely the soundtrack of ours, right? You can think of, everybody can think of at least one song that Dolly performed, that Dolly sang. My friends, Derek and Caitlin the Drives, they're a country duo. They are literally, I think it's been like a year. They've been on a tour. I forget what it's called. I mean, it's basically paying tribute to Dolly by performing, these country artists are performing songs that Dolly sang, made famous. So today, especially, I would think, they met Dolly, and I would think that it would be a really hard time for them today specifically. So can you name a Dolly song? I mean, of course you can name the one song. My eyes are watering. Do any of you love doing yard work? Does anybody know a Dolly song? Those are multiple questions, right? There are multiple questions in that. No, Dolly, name a Dolly song if you can. There's another really famous singer that sang the song as well. I will put that in there as a little tidbit of a hint. Yes. Somebody got it for sure. I want to read a few names right now. We have Charles, we have Dale, Richard, and my sister and brother and mother. That's awesome. Jolene. Yep, there we go. All right. Does anybody have a song? Do you know the song that's like unlistenable? You know the song. Speaking of, it is interesting to me how triggered people get whenever I talk about music and music and funerals. You let everybody pick what they want to pick. They should be able to pick what they want to pick. I think everyone people default to the funeral songs, right? The funeral songs are the songs that like whenever stuff hits and it's heavy and we lose someone, it's like our brains are mush. We can't think straight. So we kind of default to the six songs that we kind of default to. And so I've always been challenging you people to like, hey, think outside of the box. Like what's your all's what was your all's like what was your karaoke song? What was a song you get up there drunk as a skunk or feeling good or what's that? What was that? Drunker, I'm drunker and Cooter Brown. Um, like, what was that song like? Or what's your favorite memory of that person? Was there a moment where there was a song playing? I'm always challenging you to think of that, and it doesn't have to be a funeral song to be their funeral song or their song, if that makes sense. And people get so damn triggered. Oh my gosh. It's insane. People get so mad. Let people grieve how they want to grieve. Like all caps. Like, yeah, let them pick whatever they want. That's the point. That's some of these people's comments are like, yeah, let them, let them grieve and pick what they want. I'm like, yeah, that's great. You did it right. Good job. Good job. I don't know. I don't know why people get so triggered by it. Maybe it's because I'm saying like the song, you know? Like I'm saying the song is like that's their funeral song, so they're taking it personal, perhaps. I'm not sure. I don't know. Someone said Gorisai should be banned. Listen here. Let me see here. I want to see just how much did or no, how much does Go Rest High make annually? All right. Let's see. It's not public. Well, of course it's not. I was just wanting to assume how much it was going to be. Uh, anyway, I was thinking it was going to be in the millions. I mean, Vince Gill wrote that song during a time of grief. Some of the best songs are written during seasons of grief, heartache, sadness, because I don't think you can have a great song without experiencing that. I really don't. I'll die on that hill too. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'll give you here's a spitfire of all the songs. If you're still with me, say what up. All the songs that are the default funeral song. You ready? Dancing in the Sky. When I Get Where I'm Going. Go Rest High on That Mountain. Oh my gosh. Arms of an Angel. I'm having a brain fart. In the Garden. There's another one. Oh my gosh. I can't think. How dare me? I should be ashamed of myself. You're not a good funeral director. Hey, listen. What is it? I was trying to think of oh my gosh. My brain is scatterbrained. My kids are playing right now, right this second at a baseball game. And I've got the Game Changer app over here. And I'm kind of watching. Not gonna lie. I mean, I'm here, I'm present, but the kids. It's for the kids. Yes, Amazing Grace is definitely one as well. If you are, I was having you say the name of someone that you'll forever carry with you. Some of the stories I really want. I want to share a few of these stories. Um, I'll be very vague because I didn't get permission to share the specificities. Uh-oh. Well, I don't know why I did that. The specificities of this, but I've been getting so many wrenching, beautiful, sad stories of the names that these people that you are carrying, that you are forever honoring, that have been taken far too soon. This woman wrote to me and had lost her child 4 decades ago and grieves them as if it were moments. And we just haven't a clue. It's not that we're indifferent. I think it's just that we are too experiencing our own challenges, grief, heartache, season. And so we are kind of marching in our own way. And that a little 4-year-old, my forever 19-year-old, I'm just thinking off the top of my head of just some of these stories or people who like the story that I shared of why the song even exists. And if you're still with me, I'm talking about Names I'll Never Lose, the song that released a few weeks ago. I would love it if you gave it, played it on a playlist that you listen to often or add it to. And we're going to talk about that lyric video because I had the toughest time articulating it, but the song itself, it came from this season of, I don't know if you've ever found yourself wandering, like literally your body is physically just kind of wandering around a room or outside. And you're like, I have no idea. You don't know if to sit down. You don't know if to stand up. Maybe it's stress. Maybe it's obviously grief and anxiety and all of those. You don't know what to do with your hands. You don't want to go to sleep, but you don't want to. That's where I was. It was one of these hopes that I just kind of faded to black. And you know, that is a story that isn't one of doom and gloom because there's triumph there. And that's where I was. And the names that I'll never lose, they're my 4 sons, right? They my 4 children have endless love for me and I for them. And I, you know, whenever you feel hopeless and helpless, I mean, those lies that we tell ourselves, I talked about that last week. I think it was last week, how there's this voice in our brains that's like, you're not good enough, or it's okay. Things will be fine. You know, you're causing a lot of stress on other people. You need to just, you know, just move along. That's a definite lie. And speak to that from a spiritual standpoint, whether you pray or not, or worship or not, you know, I meet you here. It doesn't, you know, I still save you a seat and I'm not pushing anything upon you. However, I know that, I think if it's something causes a stress or anxiety or feel a negative thought, then I don't believe it's from us. And, so feelings of hopelessness and helplessness, there's nothing, I don't know what's doing that. There's nothing more profound than just continuing to show up however you can and to get on the other side of it. You can't really define what the other side or how you got there. You don't have a clue what happened for you to be here, to recognize it. But then there's this moment, it's just like, boom. It's the most beautiful thing. This side of everything, if you are experiencing something that is heavy, that is stressful, the other side of it, there's a beautiful life right here for you. And speaking to that, grief, you know, names that we forever honor or remember, it doesn't have to be that someone is physically no longer with us. I mean, I talked about it earlier at the beginning. I was talking about the friend, right? I don't know if you're in the chat, let me know. I mean, do you have the friend? Maybe it's a childhood friend, not that necessarily died, but that you all no longer are friends. That the death of a friendship, that's a real grief. That is a real tough season. right? Or the version of you, the person that used to exist of you. You hear a lot of, and I'm not speaking for women, but I've heard women say, like, there was a part of me that died when I had kids. So I'm talking about like those seasons, like that, not season, excuse me, the reality, that part of you that no longer is and that we grieve. I just am acknowledging all of those elements. Those are very much, I think it's good to feel like you're just not a nut job, right? I mean, we're all a little kooky, but really, I think we're told this is how you're supposed to be. This is how you're supposed to feel. You're supposed to do this. Don't use that. Wear that. You shouldn't. This. And so if we're doing any of the things that we're told not or to do, we think we're a little off. And why? It's so stupid. Do you hear that? That's my throat. That's my throat. I just want to acknowledge the grief because it's real. It is so real. And I always am worried too. Like, if you've been with me for quite some time, or if you're new here and you're like, what the heck? But musician, mortician, what is the parallel? Well, the parallel, it's a very, I mean, it's the same job. It's the same job. Storytelling, one is just, you know, melody and rhymes. And yeah, I was worried that the community that I was building with you, I don't ever want it to be this place where it's like, let's go sit and sulk. And that's not what I ever intend to be. And I don't think that you think that, but I've always, it's kind of like the voice that's saying this. It's obviously a lie, but I want this place to be a place where we're acknowledging that, hey, we feel what we feel. It's real. It's yours too. And to feel just seen is very profound and powerful. And I just wanted to, these are things that I struggle with sometimes, right? You know, it's like, is this the right thing? But I am learning, and hopefully maybe this is inspiring you, hopefully, but I'm learning that if I keep coming back to it, or if I'm excited about it, or if it feels like going off of feels, it's real. If it feels right, if it feels good, then I think it's the right thing. And I'm not saying that like, well, so does crack. I mean, obviously I'm not joking. Well, I am. I'm not trying to make light of. My point is like, if something that you're passionate about, like telling the story or telling or creating the space for people who have experienced loss and to feel acknowledged, it's not a bad thing. I guess that's my point. You know what? I'm being long-winded, but let's talk a little bit about a boot. Let's see if I did this right. Hold on. You ready? Hold on. Here we go. Did I do it? I don't know. No, it's still the same. It's still the same. Hang on. Hang on. Did I do it? Go. How do I do this? Shift 5. That's not right. I don't. Hold on. No, hold on. Hold on. This is a very, very, very impressive outfit here. Okay. Give me a break. What I'm trying to do, I thought I did it. Let's add a scene and let's go to, oh no, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to share with you. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Got it. Don't judge me. Here it is. All right, ladies and gentle lads. Here it is. This is, if you've not seen it yet, this is Names I'll Never Lose. This is the lyric video. And I want to, I don't know why it's so small. Here, let's do this. Oh, boop. Okay. This is amazing. This is a very quality production. If you're watching, if you're just streaming this on wherever it is you stream your podcast, we release these the next day. You're going to be like, what are they talking about? This is on YouTube, and that's poison ivy, by the way. That's not me spilling or spitting toothpaste out on my hand. This is the lyric video for Names I'll Never Lose. I was thinking about like, okay, how can there be this relatable thing? Because you want to be able to tell the story of the song, like the season that I was in. And this is it's a very honest, delicate topic, because, I'm saying it for YouTube and for the sake of and the delicacy of, because many of you maybe have lost somebody who, um, chose a path such as, and so, like, fading to black is what I was calling it, right? You just wanna just gently disappear, and, I wanted to somehow share that story and then say, I want you to picture a day in your life that as you know it, where you're watching life happen, but you're not in it. And I didn't think that's the right way to articulate it, because that's not what I was trying to it's not what I was trying to do or trying to necessarily say. So I was thinking, like, what can I do to share where I was in that space? So as a funeral director, I did what I do. And this is the official lyric video, and I want to just talk through what this is. This is obviously the funeral scene. And by the way, I'm gonna play this. Oh, that's so loud. I'm so sorry, ladies and gents. That's so sad. All right.
There were nights I didn't trust myself.
That is me lying on an embalming table. I want you to know something. As an embalmer, I've been in the care center numerous times, lots of times. It's a most holy of place. And if you have lost somebody, the stigma from the funeral profession side is we don't talk about what happens behind those closed doors. My pushback was always, why? It's the most beautiful the act of. I mean, Jesus not saying I'm Jesus, but Jesus washed the feet of, right? I mean, the most humbling of acts, really, the arguably the dirtiest part of your body, and you're sitting here having, someone wash your feet. And in the care center, you're washing, you are tending to, you are caring for somebody, the shell that housed the soul, somebody that people love more than anything, right? And I was proud of that, and I'm proud of that. But being in there from the standpoint and seeing so many loved ones on a table, and then taking myself and placing myself there, I thought was uh, the perfect way to depict what I was trying to say, and how I wanted you to think.
Didn't recognize the floor.
It's
Stood on. Felt like the world would
really
keep
weird to see
on
yourself on an embalming table.
moving.
Talk about
If I quietly moved
another
on.
layer of perspective there.
I
And this.
question every reason.
So the video itself, the lyric video for Names I'll Never Lose, what it is doing is, I don't know that I want to give away, because on the members, I just released a members video here on YouTube, and we released a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and I was giving it a very detailed breakdown of why and so forth. But I will generalize a lot of that just because that's, thanks to our members. I think we have a few members here. There's a lot of members only content, but the way that we depicted this, I don't know if you've ever lied. I don't know if you ever have been in a casket before. Really fucking warm in there.
I
This
question why
is
I stayed.
I took a
Felt
photo
like
while
I'd run out of
and then we turned the
hope
photo
and
into
bought.
video. It's beautiful technology, but I wanted to take myself through the process of the care center, the visitation in the casket. And there are a lot of Easter eggs in this video. If you have not seen all of it, I just realized I don't want to give away all of this. This is a lot of stuff for the members as well. But that is here. Let's see if I can do this right. I don't know what I'm doing. Here, let's go just like this. Uh-oh. There, I did it. That's if it that is the lyric video, and that is the mindset that I wanted. So instead of me saying, I want you to picture your life without you in it, I take you through where what I was thinking about putting myself in the spot, in the place that I would have been, which is eerie, which is humbling, which is perspective building. And that is, yeah, that's I think I hit the nail on the head. I know I did. This song, I believe, was going to define who I am, my career, me as an artist, me as a father, which brings me to something that I think just totally it surrounds everything that I do. If you are not doing the thing that you love more than anything, if you are not utilizing your gifts, your talents, your passion, you are doing this world a disservice. Full stop. And I say this, I've said it a billion times, but I really mean this. Like you obviously have bills to pay. The lights in this studio, the which oh, by the way, the studio's done. If you were on last week's live, I was really excited about it. I think I even started the live and the toilet was flushing in the background, maybe, or still filling back up. Nonetheless, yes, I wash my hands. The studio has a studio bathroom, or the basement has, yeah, there's a bathroom. Super excited about it. But I get it. Like you, maybe your ventriloquism isn't going to generate revenue for you to live. So you have to work at the factory right now. But if you're not doing ventriloquism, because if you're not being a ventriloquist or learning the craft because you're excited about it, then I think you're doing yourself and the world a disservice, because there are people out there that are actively looking for the thing in which you love. I mean, I really mean that. And I think it's important for you to do the thing. And I'm telling myself that, right? Because for such a long time, I told myself this story like, yeah, we're not going to, I'll release a song, I guess, maybe. Yeah. Um, I was doing the world a disservice by not showing up and creating. And so I've been more intentional than I've ever been. And I think that's all part of like the healing aspect of not only my life, but yours as well. If we just keep putting one foot in front of the other and doing the thing that we love to do, things, there's a lot of victory there for sure. It's a beautiful thing. And I just want to, yeah, I just want to challenge you and encourage you there, because yeah, I know I'm beating a dead horse there, but it's really important to me. All right, let me find this story because I lost it. I pulled up another tab. Okay. Hang on a second. Does anybody else, let me know in the chat, like what is your dream? What's the thing that you think about all the time doing and you haven't done it yet? And I'm not going to bust your chops, but like is there something that you're like, "Oh, I'll do that when. I'll do that when. I'll do that maybe." I'm not going to do that because, and we make these excuses and reasons why we're not going to do that. I'll just let you know time is non-replenishable. You don't have you're not guaranteed anything. I hear it all the time. I caught myself the other day. Again, I think I told on myself a few weeks ago too. I was talking to my friend David and I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna just do that next week. What? What if I just drop dead? Like, what's something that you want to do, but you're not doing and you should be doing and you love it and you think about it and you're always watching YouTube videos on it? Like maybe it's you want to go thrifting. I don't know. Maybe you want to buy an embroidery machine and sell it out of I don't know, sell your you know, let me know. Do you have something that you want to do and you're not doing, but you should be doing? I would love to know. I would. While you're typing and telling me in the chat, seriously, I love it. If someone did write my songs, getting my songs published, that's amazing. I love it. I love it. Okay. There's a village and there's a grave. I mentioned this earlier and I made all these notes. So I'm going to, September of 1940, the Battle of Britain. Someone say go to Salem, Mass for Halloween. That's awesome. The skies over the English coast. Obviously, it's a war zone. And over this little stretch of water called Porlock Bay in Somerset, this German bomber I guess it's a Junkers 88. It's a type of bomber. It gets caught by RAF Spitfires, so and brought down. And there are 4 young men in that aircraft, and 3 of them survive and are taken prisoner, and one of them does not make it. His name was Wilhelm, uh, Reuhl, so Rule maybe? And he was 20 years old. And obviously, if you think about who he is to that village, he's the enemy. He is the thing, he represents the thing that the villagers, the people have been running to bomb shelters for, and he falls out of their sky on their coast in a machine that was actually built to hurt them and those they love. Which, putting myself there, I don't know how I would handle this. Nobody, in my opinion, I don't think would have blamed anybody for burying them in just some unmarked grave and him being a afterthought. But that's not what they did. What the villagers did was they buried the 20-year-old, I'll call him a boy, in their own churchyard. Hawkcombe Cemetery. And they marked him with this very simple wooden cross. And then they kept him, like, for 86 years. The people of that village, they tended to the grave of the enemy. They laid flowers on it. They cared for it. They mowed it. And every year at the remembrance services of the church, the services for the church's dead, the village's dead, their sons, their fathers, husbands, they read his name out loud too. Wilhelm Reuhl, a German, the enemy, and his name is read out loud with honor, mixed in with all of those that the villagers have loved, experienced life with, loving moments with, and who have lost for 86 years. These are generations of people who were not even born when this man, young boy, 20 years old, when he died. And yet they keep tending to the grave. They keep this boy's name alive, that the world, or especially the village or where they were, had every reason to forget about him. And the crazy thing is this year, 2026, they replaced that wooden cross with a headstone, a proper headstone. And they held this rededication service for him, and the British came and the Germans came and they stood at the grave together. People who were former enemies. And the man from the German War, let me get this right, the German War Graves Commission said something. He called it a blueprint story of reconciliation after war, a story of how to make peace. This boy dies 86 years ago as the enemy. He became the way for 2 nations to make peace at a graveside because somebody decided they refused to let his name, go into the dirt and never be spoken again. People who had every reason to never, ever give it another thought. Arguably, just throw them in a ditch, throw me in a ditch when I die. Like that, it could have applied there. That nearly a century, they chose and decided that a name is a name. A mother's son is a mother's son. It's no matter where they come from, whose flag flies on the plane. Now, obviously, easier said than done, to which I wish to acknowledge. But isn't it beautiful? Sometimes the hardest thing is still the right thing. I wrote this question down. If a village can do that, total strangers can carry the name of a boy, I call him a boy, he's 20 years old, who came to bomb them and carry it so faithfully that it turns into peace, then what about the names you're carrying? The people, the ones you actually loved, the ones who never dropped out of your sky as the enemy, but as your person. Yeah. That's why I ask you to like put their name in the chat. Put it wherever you can, whenever you can. You may speak to them in present tense because they very much are still with us. They're just in the other room. And that is the beauty of what we do here with the Mortals, but also with the song, Names I'll Never Lose. It's powerful. You know, we speak things into existence. And I believe when I say that, I mean, when we say their name, we're reigniting their love over again, you know? Has anyone here had like someone come up to you and like you go to work? I just did a video on this. I was talking about like the 5 things that you do when you're grieving at work. You just experience a loss, which by the way, we need to talk about grief, bereavement, like bereavement policy or time. Apparently, and it was happening, people would come to the funeral home, grown adults, which is the weirdest thing. Where's a piece of paper? They come up. They come up and they're like, "Can you sign my attendance at a funeral so I can take it to my employer?" It's insane to think about. It's like crazy. You're an adult signing an adult's thing. But bereavement, I understand that people take advantage of it. But this whole 3-day thing, what? What's your policy on bereavement? Does anybody have like some crazy, I don't know. I mean, like, does anybody here have like an understanding of their bereavement policy? But I did the video and I was talking about like you go back to work and all the people, you know, all the people that work there, maybe there's 15, maybe there's 1,500, and they're gonna probably not say anything. And our brains were like, "How dare you?" You know, we wanna say something like, you know, my person matters or and mattered, but it's not them being indifferent or dumb. Maybe they are being dumb because people don't know what to say. Like, they don't. Sometimes actually, you know what? Sometimes they'll just really piss you off. You know? Like, they really will. Um, but I wouldn't anyway, I was thinking about, like, when you go back to the work, and some people rush back, they're like, "I better get back to work, it'll help me." And they're sitting in their cubicle, and they're just, like, ugly crying, which is fine. You know what? Do your thing. Cry. It's my party. I can cry if I want to. I don't know what got me on that. I just I don't know, I think we don't give ourselves enough time to, you know, sit with it. Where's a I'm reading some people. I had a couple other things I wanted to go over, but, you know, I this is a high quality production, let me tell you. That is for sure. Oh, yeah, uh, I was talking to this sweet little old lady, and she was talking about her, uh, horse. This I'm going somewhere. Just that was the worst segue I've ever had in my life. It was like, "Yeah, grieve yeah, this horse." She had the horse for 25 years. She said she was dating this man, and this is an old lady, by the way, and she was telling me the story of this horse that she loved more than anything, and this man said, "We're gonna get married, and you gotta sell the horse." She said, "Well, me and that man never got married. He's not here." She chose the horse, and the horse lived another forever, but she still grieves the horse that she had for over 25 years. Pets, we just we people don't acknowledge the fact that our pets are, they're people. They're not people. I mean, some of you all treat your pets like people, that's for sure. Cash is I tell Marilyn all the time. I joked with her a couple of nights ago. I said, "Listen here, if let's just say if it was me or the dog, you would choose the dog." She was like, "Yeah." I don't know why I always say, like, if you're a funeral director, you become some really old Southern person, but also when I'm telling the story about Marilyn, who is very articulate and has a wonderful voice, she turns into a 77-year-old Southern funeral director that's sweating at the cemetery. Anyway, maybe pets, that they are our loved ones. We had a pet service. Pets are we had it for 8 years, and people, the way they grieve their pets, sometimes you would think that they do love their pets more than they love their family members. The very first this is true. So, when we were getting the pet cremation service started, it's a whole other thing. Having the funeral home, it's thing, and then the funeral home offers pet service. The very first, I'll never forget it. We go drive out about 40 minutes away from where we were, and they decide they don't want their dog cremated. They want their dog buried. And we came in our suits, and they wanted us to dig the hole in their backyard, to which my brother John and I dug a hole in the backyard of that house. It took forever. The peak of the summer, ground as hard as a rock. Oh gosh. You know, it's what we do. It's what we do. I wish if there's any are there any funeral directors in here? There's so many fun stories about funeral service and funeral directing, and I don't know how you can't be in the funeral profession and experience what we experience and not be inspired. I mean, some things are, they could be a little humorous. There are humorous stories, right? But I don't know how you can't go through and experience and witness some of the things that I have and not just be inspired to be better, how not to be or not to handle things, or maybe I don't want my life to have this trajectory, or maybe the way in which you connect with people on such a profound level and you really see the beauty of life. I'm gonna see in the chat if there's anybody here. Oh, someone literally just said New York State. What is up, funeral director? You maybe can agree with this. There, it's just, you go to work, you probably have your friends at work, maybe your colleagues that maybe you're in customer service where you are interacting with the public, and you have your favorites. In funeral service, you have the families that come in that I don't want to say go through motions, but you don't feel that bond. You still are grateful, you still are privileged, you still take it very serious, and you handle things with reverence and professionalism. But then there are the families that come in and you just are like peas and carrots. And those are the ones, like, I could rattle off name after name after name right now of people that have just impacted my life forever, that I feel that I've been invited to their family reunions, that I see on, whether it's on social media, they'll pop into one of the comments. I don't know how it's possible that I see the comment, because honestly, if you're not subscribed, if you're not a member, it doesn't always ping you at the top of. but we light up when we see each other. I mean, I could name Lance. Anyway, I could go on and on, but I think funeral service, it allows you, I think death makes us bitter or it makes us better. Grief, like death, the death of doesn't have to be a loved one's life. It could be the friendship that I was talking about, the version of you or the old you or a pet, right? I mean, we either become bitter and hardened or become better. I don't think there's any other in between there. I mean, you could argue with me on it, but I don't. I think everything in life is a choice, and specifically grief, it does something to us. It really does. It causes us to not think clearly. It causes us to be angry, to be overwhelmed, to be frustrated. I wonder if they've ever done a test like where, I mean, I'm being serious, where there is a task to complete during someone's immediate grief. Like a death occurs, someone very directly connected, whether it's a spouse or a partner or a brother or sister or family member, and that person is then required to complete a task. Like put together a 500 piece Lego set. I'm saying that because it's like you literally are incapable of thinking clearly and properly. There's this saying I remember hearing. I was like 17 years old, maybe. My youth minister said, "Halt. Never make a decision when you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired." And I think you're all of those things whenever you lose somebody. And here you are, you're coming into the funeral home, and that is what makes a funeral director, in my opinion, the most, not the most, I'll just say one of the most profound and beautiful professions, to be able to delicately guide someone who is coming in hungry, angry, lonely, tired, and facilitating something that is extremely meaningful, powerful, and important for these people. I think that's pretty awesome. So again, I say to you, there is no difference in the mortician and the musician. It is thinking with the same brain and creative process and intentionality. It's pretty cool. It's really cool. I know we bounced all over the place tonight, and I want to go back up. And if you have not yet, I'm going to read some of these comments. If you want to drop the name, all super chats that do drop a name, I'll ping them. I'll pin them to the live as well. We go live every Tuesday, 7:00 Eastern, and it is amazing the percentage of people that watch the videos and they're not subscribed, which it's like 70%, 73% watch and aren't subscribed. So I'm glad you're watching and you're participating and you're hanging out. We go live every Tuesday, 7:00 Eastern, sometimes a few minutes late in the event I have to go to the restroom from too many cups of tea. But I would love for you to be notified when I do go live, clicking the bell, be subscribed, all that fun stuff. All right, let's go through some of these. And rolling. And we go live on multiple platforms. And this platform, I'm just going to say, I don't know. Use this platform called Restream, and the chats, they're not in real time at all. And so they'll pop up because I go live on a few platforms. They'll pop up so late, especially if you're on Facebook. They show up as comments, like under the post itself, and they just keep rolling. My phone's going off. I just got a notification on Game Changer. I bet that means something. Maybe Everett or Anderson, maybe they did something really good. Just please hold. Hang on. No. No, they're not. They're not. Anderson's on deck, by the way. That's my oldest. Okay. Let's go. I'm gonna read some of yours. Here we go. My brother. Someone wrote, "Is that hairstyle intentional?" I'm gonna go ahead and just ping this because that's incredible. Absolutely, it's intentional. The taller the hair, the closer to God. I'll take it. Always love it when people there's this lady, uh, who which if you do content or want to do content, and you should, I tell you all the time, please show up and create, do the content. Just do it. Um, but don't do it if you're worried about what people think. Just because there was this moment I remember, I'll never forget it. I will never forget it. I had like 100 and something thousand, 131, 21,000 followers on TikTok. Everybody's so nice and great. And then I hit like the 200,000 mark and I was like, why is everybody so mean to me? It was a major adjustment. But there is this lady, the hair is always a thing. But there's this lady that comes in, probably 70 years old, and she is just, I mean, I'm screenshotting. She is just every video just demolishing me and my hair. Uh, like I'm talking like you get to a point where you're like, what are you doing? I didn't ask, but to the lady's hair, do you remember in 1990 here, like in 1993, women would have like the pom pom right here, like right here. That's what she had. And arguably, I would say, what are you doing with your hair? Anyway, someone said my brother, um, Elvis and Dale and Charles and Diddy and Dolly and uh, I can't pin this. That's Diana. Thank you so much for the love there. I appreciate it. I really do. Diana, thank you very much. Jolene. Um, I think we are talking about songs here. We have Michelle. We have Jimmy. We have. I'm scrolling through and reading names. Thank you all for sharing that. Someone asked me if I have a twin brother, and I think they're referring to my music video for. Let me go back to this. This is what a song called. Not that song. That's not my song at all. It's called Last Time. And let me find it. Hold, please. What? Oh. All right, guys. We have a very, very, very high quality production here. It's so stupid. Oh no, I feel sorry for everybody who has to listen to this. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Who has to listen to this? All right, let's see. That's me. So, no, I'm not a twin, but we just split screened it. This is amazing. Someone in the chat asked if I have a twin brother. No, I don't have a twin brother, but if I did, that's what he would look like. That was so stupid on my part saying that. Let's see here. If I missed any, again, I'm I'm trying. I'm trying. Anyway, listen, uh, I believe that all things are teaching us something, teachable moments. And if this finds you in a delicate, difficult, challenging moment in time and season, and you're like, I have no clue how I'm going to insert blank, whatever. It's just constantly, consistently showing up however you're able. Maybe you're able to take a step. Maybe you're able to, I don't know. Maybe you're barely able to scrape yourself out of bed. Mel Robbins has the 5-second rule. The 5-second, like where you count down from 5. She went through this season of major depression because grief can bring that. So she gave herself 5 seconds and she counted out loud. And when she got to 0, she hopped out of bed. And that was how she kept showing up. And little by little, it got a little easier. And you look one day And you're like, wow. And that's what I was kind of referring to. But that's also why I say the name, like speak their name, not just necessarily hear, but writing it down, putting it in the chat, saying it aloud, telling the stories of them. And then also not being afraid to ask the questions if you're on the other side of that too. Like if you do have a coworker that comes back and they've lost someone that they love, ask a question about them. Ask about them in present tense because they absolutely want to talk about them. So you should allow them to. And that's why I create this space, this place, this community, the mortals, because we all want to feel a part of something. We want to feel heard. And making space for someone, it doesn't mean that you have the right answer or the right response. It just means you'll sit with them. And that's a freaking awesome thing, because there have been moments, seasons in my life where all I wanted is to feel, taking a lyric from the song, when that I mattered. And that's why I say that you're loved far more than you can ever know. And that's why I show up. So do the thing that you love. If you're not doing it, if you're not knitting those sweaters and you love knitting sweaters, you better do it. And thank you for sharing with me the names of your loved ones. I'm grateful for you. You can join as a member here on YouTube, content exclusive to members, like behind the scenes of the making of the video. And we have more stuff coming out too. But Names I'll Never Lose is streaming everywhere. The best way that you can helping you is put it on a podcast, put it on a playlist that you love. Share it with a friend. You know, that's how it works. Here, I'll show you something else real quick before we go. And of course, you can grab some swag over at Nathan Morris Music. You know what? You're not a member of, this is like the new, everybody is going to have to start wearing this to work or to the lives. Like you're not in uniform if you're not wearing that. You get all kinds of cool stuff, nathanmorrismusic.com. And I'm grateful for you. Honestly, you are loved far more than you could ever know. If you take anything away from today, your person matters. You matter. Say their name. There's no wrong or right way to grieve. And you are not promised tomorrow. So do the thing. Say the thing. That's important. It's very important. You're important. I hope you realize that. Until next time, my friends, I need to eat dinner.